Well, hello, Unlimited Wisdom family and members. I love and appreciate you very, very, very much. And yesterday, I did this video that was really dear on my heart. I got a download, basically talking about the concept of being in the awe moment and staying in awe, you know. And it was interesting because I actually, did some research on it, awestruck. There was a lot of neat little things that are around that. But, you know, the second part of this, not being a second part, is yesterday I talked about the awe that you can get into by doing all kinds of things. I'm not going to redo the video that I did yesterday, right? But this one here is funny because as I leaned into this, um, you know, where my downloads come from just changed my subject. So that's me thinking, hey, this is what I'm going to cover, but I can see right now it's going to still be a part of that. So, how many of you get being in awe of something? Even people got goosebumps, you hear music, you see somebody even, cuddling an animal or cuddling a baby, cuddling a baby animal, cuddling someone that you really adore and love. We really, really got into how deep that awe is. And then sometimes how little people focused on that and intentionally do that. So here's where the subject changed. Now, how do you look at yourself and be in awe? I'll say that again. So when you can look at yourself in awe, now magic happens, miracles happens. There's all these people out there that talk about manifestation, the secret, all these things about, us even talking about imaginators. A lot of you can look at all the videos we already have in Unlimited Wisdom. And so when and only when, so Jim Rohn used to say this, one of my incredible mentors, his last name is Rohn. And when he said this, the first time he said this goes exactly opposite. Again, how do you know that? If what you know that you know that you know isn't so, when would you like to know? And the first time that he said this, I can understand why, me personally, and a majority of the people in the world do not do what I'm about ready to tell you. This is the key thing. The key thing. Because he would say, you need to work harder on yourself than anything else. All right. So if I'm trying to figure out how to be happy, I'm trying to figure out how to make money, I'm trying to figure out how to have freedom by not being employed by somebody that doesn't see my value and my worth, right? So people that seeked out Jim Rohn, and I personally knew him. I went to several of his events live. And one of the things that he kept saying is, Robert, you need to work harder on yourself than anything else. And I can be bold and honest with you guys with incredible authenticity to tell you that I did not do that. See, what I wanted to know is how to pique people's interest. ABC, always be closing. How to do an effective presentation. How to do 4 steps to success. How to get people enrolled and start earning money and start building an organization. Do you understand? If you understand, please raise your hand and say yes in the chat. Because I would rather do anything than work on me. Can I get a yes or a yes? Right? And so this is the stuff that we do. We go, I'll work on me as soon as fill in the blank. I'll work on me when I have time. Oh, really? I'll work on me as soon as I make enough money. Me and Scott had some personal conversations about this. And it's like, well, listen, I will focus on me and work on me as soon as I get this done. I get my business to this. I get this happening. Are you guys hearing me? And so, the downloads that I've been getting is when you can purposely put yourself in awe, and what I've seen that awe is I'm going to be extremely authentic here because I love watching things that make me cry. It puts me in touch of that thing that everyone told me before I figured out how to be in the awe and start working on looking at myself in awe, that delusional self-esteem, that delusional confidence, that delusional strength that I have. And after the video that I watched yesterday, I was going like, is there anybody else talking about this awestruck thing? And there was a couple of TED Talks. And what they talked about is a thing called charisma. I've heard this in other old teachings called the magnetic voice. And some of us see people and we look at them, and again, there's a part of us that are just like, wow. And I want you to think for a second, or maybe even after this, write yourself a note. What are some people in your life that you looked at and just went, I don't know what that it factor is, but that person has the it factor. My wife last night watched the Charlie Sheen documentary. All right. What a freaking train wreck. Still has the it. Still has the it. Recovering for the fourth or fifth time, like Johnny Depp, Lindsay Lohan, Mike Tyson. It's like, after paying taxes and everything, you had $300 million and you went on a binge to lose it all. It's like, and how's these people still alive? It's like they went into wide open self-destruction sabotage. And they can't even take themselves out. And you'll notice something about this, the people that believe in their awe. They are able to get in that flow. They're able to get in that zone. And their number one goal is just to make other people feel something. So it wasn't by accident, as these people are talking, how charismatic people have a tendency of just getting your attention. You're like, and this guy was talking about this speaker that he's seen, and he says, I just don't, it was Winston Churchill. And he was saying that when he was caught up in it, watching him speak, he sort of shook it off a little bit and goes, is this just me? And he said he purposely looked at the people on the left and the right. And he says, you could see they were void of emotion because they were like this. That's a whole different place. Have you guys seen people, or, you're like looking around and it's like, wow, everyone's got their mouth open. It's like, they're not smiling. They're not laughing. They're not upset. They're in awe. And I thought, wow, when you say the word awe, And then you look at people's mouth like this, ah. It's like, and we see people that, so while I was doing this research, I don't think anything's an accident. Whitney Houston's song came up. If I don't have you. And, it was played in The Bodyguard. And if I don't have you. And I clicked on it and I had to shut it off. Like Whitney Houston singing the Star Spangled Banner. That's going to always have a place so deep in my heart because Terry almost died from an ectopic pregnancy. And she was in probably about a week in intensive care. And while we were in there, the Super Bowl was playing on the TV. And Whitney Houston sang that. And so it always will just bring me back there. Okay? So when I say, do you look at yourself and go, ah? See, I see a lot of people's faces right now, and it's like, because if you can't look at yourself in awe, then you're missing the only key component to getting everything you want in life. If you're not lovable, then how can you expect people to love you? If you're not awesome to be around, if you don't think that you're enough, how many people know that I worked on that? I believe I'm still working on that. And so, a lot of the times I knew why my mentor, had me read this book and do the assignment. I didn't look at myself as a miracle. I didn't look at myself as having any kind of gifts whatsoever. And in my first years working with my mentors, both of them, they constantly had these personal conversations with me about when are you going to take a break and pat yourself on the back? When are you going to reward yourself and acknowledge that you're a blessing, that you're a gift, that you got to proclaim your uniqueness? Yes, we all know and hear that we're 400 trillion and one of being in existence. We all hear that no one has our DNA or our eyes or our fingerprints. I don't think there's anybody that argues how unique we are. But it's impossible to be authentic and run at the highest energy level if you don't value you. If you don't look at yourself and just go, ah, instead of, wow, my hair is stupid. I wish my eyes were a different color. I wish I was in better shape. I think my laugh and my voice is stupid. I don't like the way I look and I don't like the way I sound. It's this thing that Jim Rohn talked about, which is what's your personal psychology? And he would say this all the time. You have a business philosophy and a personal philosophy. You got to work harder on you than you work on anything else, including your business. And people go, nah, I'll just skip that part. Now, I'm going to be very clear here. People are going to miss this point. Being in awe of yourself is not fixing yourself. It's not doing compare-itis and so saying, I wish I was more like Sandy. I wish I was more like Coach Bob. I wish I was more like Scott. See, because that's the opposite of authenticity. Being authentic is the new abundance. The people that are going to win and take over this world is authenticity is the new abundance. Your individuality is your superpower. We're beyond labels. You're a masterpiece. So when you look at yourself, you got to look at yourself as a masterpiece and unique instead of labels. Like I'm a procrastinator. I'm not that smart. I'm lazy. I'm not good at technology. I'm not good at doing videos or whatever you want to do. So every person is a once in eternity creation. Ooh, thank you. So whether you believe in something bigger or not, your uniqueness is to find that awe in you. And so some of you have heard me say this before, but I think that this will tie down really quick. So when you look at something and you're in awe of that, now you know you have the ability to get into the awe factor, right? Oh, a lot of good ones today. My mind being the mind that it is, my spirit, my soul being what it is, just went, how do you say authenticity again? Authenticity. Authentic. Yes. It's like, there's the awe. And how many of you have had people say nice things about you, and you immediately discredit it? Nah, no, nah. It's like, wait a minute. You even have people in the world that see awe in you, and you can't even accept the awe that people see in you. Sandy, it's like, thank you for being bold and honest. I think we're all saying this. So, how can you expect the awe in life without seeing the awe in you? So some of you are going, you don't know how hard I'm working. It's like karaoke. You can try to sing Whitney Houston's song, but she sings it with awe. We watch these people do unhuman things because they let go and they allow the awe to happen. Are you guys getting this? And so every day, I would say, like the video yesterday, work each and every day of making sure that you get into the awe to experience it. You know, I don't know if I shared this at all, but there was part of praise and worship of Charlie Kirk's memorial that I'm telling you, I am in awe of my ability to get in awe. I am in awe of how I will not allow other things and other people's and other experiences, the distractions around me, from stopping me from getting into awe. And I seen a video where they were doing at a football game where they were doing some silence for Charlie Kirk. And there was a big football player. It was in a professional league. And there was a big football player that just ran out on the field, fell down on his knees and put his hands up. Can we have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk? Hang on. Runs out on the field, drops to his knees, and puts his hands up. Uh, for those of you that don't believe in stuff like that, here's the delusion. He does. He does. So when you work on this believing in your mind, your heart, your spirit, and soul, and you start believing that you're in awe, you know will disappear immediately? Your judgment and criticism of others. Because most people judge and criticize others because they're not like them. Wouldn't you just want everyone to love themselves and be in awe of themselves? If a person was in awe of who they were, what's the chances of them being influenced by others? It's that phrase, before you put an oxygen mask on other people, put it on yourself. A drowning person is no help to a drowning person. So I know I'm being bold when I say this, but how many of you believe that I'm charismatic? So when I laugh and I say things, do some of you go, wow, ah? I personally need to step further into that. Are you guys hearing me? I need to trust that. And what Jim Rohn said, the last words that Jim Rohn said to me was, Robert, you die twice. Once when you stop breathing, and another time is when they stop talking about you, when they stop saying your name. How long do you think that we'll be hearing about a person named Charlie Kirk? See, it's like I don't have to believe in Mother Teresa. I don't have to believe in Martin Luther King. I don't have to believe in Gandhi. I don't have to believe in these people or anything that they stood for. But if someone's not impressed that people are still talking about them, then you're just delusional. And not in a good way. You see what I'm saying? So, like yesterday, I asked you to try to find 5 minutes a day, to just get in awe. Find something that awes you. How many of you are catching on that I'm coming up with a whole different language? It's like, find things that awe you. Excuse me. So you know what that feels like. Because when you can awe yourself anytime you want, then it's going to allow you to be in awe of you. If you just had the ability to be the person that lights up a room, if you're just a person that when you're around other people, they feel like you're the light. I know I shared this chart before when this stuff first came to me. But the highest level of vibration, the highest level of frequency is awe. The highest level is authentic. And those are the people that can lead people. Those are the people that can um, one of those people for me was Chris Farley. One of those people for me was John Candy. Do any one of you know why I was in awe of those two? Because there were two overweight white guys that made a huge impact in people's lives. And here's the sad thing. Both of them did not see awe in themselves. They were able to get in awe. They were able to step in it and do the wild and crazy things that made other people in awe of them. Robin Williams. There's these people that know that they have the it. But when they're not performing, they weren't in awe of themselves. And that's what people could not understand about Charlie Sheen. It's like, why doesn't he see what seems to be totally obvious to everyone else? Why doesn't anyone see this? Oh my God, he's starting to become successful again. He's starting to get in the pocket. And everybody says, oh my God, you're the highest paid actor ever. $2 million an episode. Yeah, I gotta fuck this up. Do you guys understand why people are scared of success? They're scared of winning? Because if they do, in a blink of an eye, all of a sudden people around you are going to be in awe. And you don't awe yourself. So it doesn't feel authentic. Some of you would freak out if all of a sudden you started getting millions of views on your videos and everyone started joining your school or your whatever. And everybody wants it. You know, Coach Bob's like, hey, I'm going to put this stuff out there. And then all of a sudden he wakes up and he's going, holy cow, 5,000 people joined? See, just listen to me a second. If you're not in awe of yourself, you're stopping that from happening. Did you guys get it? I know Sandy did. The miracles and things that you want to happen in your life are not happening because you're not in awe of who you are and your abilities to take them to the promised land. And so for some of you that would just like to do what you love and your passion and never have to worry about money again, I have to level up my awe. To have 1 million active people in unlimited wisdom, I have to do what Jim Rohn said. I got to work harder on me than I do anything else. I got to get into that next level of authenticity and awe of who I am and what my gifts are and that I'm a miracle so I can shut this guy up. Did that touch you guys? How many people do you know out there that are saying, let me give you, me and Craig and Matt were going back and forth today. And it's like, what makes unlimited wisdom in our community and family unique? I'll tell you what it is. It's all of our ability to make other people feel good, feel in awe. We support each other. We say nice things, complimentary things. We lift up everyone in the community. And if I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. And so when you go out of your way and you make a post that you feel great about, and other people say nice comments on it, what does it make you feel? Doesn't it? So when you make a good post and it's from your heart, you thought about it, you put some stuff in it, and then other people acknowledge and say thank you, and that touched me, and that's amazing. That thing that you're feeling is the thing you need to do for yourself as well. See, we can take that from other people, but how about doing it to ourselves? Damn, that was a great post, Sandy. You did good there. It's like, because we're all human beings, and sometimes we go out of our way to make an authentic post instead of just copy and pasting and putting stuff in. We do an authentic post, and it scares us to death. Because what if people just go, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to say any comments. I'm not going to do any thumbs ups. I'm not going to post any gifts with loves and hugging and stuff. So every day we got to work on this awe so we can become authentic. Because people that are authentic are going to change the world. They're going to change the world. But people are not going to follow you if you don't believe in you. They're not. So, how was I able to do it at the beginning? I've already shared this, but I want you guys to have it. When I found someone that had charisma, when I found someone that was authentic, when I found someone that I would go all in on, until I knew I could figure it out, I just did my best to put more people in front of them than anyone else I know. Because I knew that people needed to hear this message. Does that make sense to you guys? And when I put people in front of someone that was authentic, that got them to work more on them than anything else, the people that got it, they still send me messages 38 years later saying thank you. They're successful in all different kinds of realms. But I was the person that was authentic in promoting and edifying somebody that was. And that person touched them at the right time in their life. And then I get credit for it. Wow. And then all of a sudden, I started believing in myself. I started doing routines and practices to believe that I was a miracle, that I was a gift, that I had greatness inside of me. I would have never wrote a book until someone came to me and they said, I would just like to use all your Hollisisms. I'd like to take all of your Hollisisms and I'd like to ask you questions and record about 50 hours of stuff. And then the second book, that Lori Munson wrote for me. Do you know where she got all that information? Off videos that I did. She watched videos and took notes and goes, here's a paragraph. Here's 2 paragraphs. Here's a chapter. If you guys believed in yourself and your awe, could you eventually write a book now with AI from the stuff that you created? No problem. So, like I said yesterday, I'm in awe of you. And now I got to get you to feel the same way as I feel about you. I love you. I believe in you. If no one's ever given you permission to awe yourself, let me give you that permission. I love and appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon on the next video. Bye for now.